Hello, this is Paul Bo Brookins, and welcome back to How to Play Dwarf Fortress. We're in part 5. 5? Yeah, 5. In which we are actually going to play the game. We just got done putting all our items in our inventory, basically. And we're set to go. Now, if you type capital F, it'll bring up this generator of the name of the fortress. If you've ever read anything about Dwarf Fortress, there's a lot of really cool stories, and the name of the fortress is always kind of random. There's the Something Awful forum games. I forget the name of it right now, but there's it's always randomly generated. Of course, you can come into this and hit R to randomly generate up in this corner. It picks a name every time you hit R. Or you can actually go through and pick a name that sounds cool to you. I like to just randomly generate one until one of them hits me as cool. So let's see, page grooves, glove merges, golden soaks, fought arrows, wall churches, channel roared, praise labor. Let's go with praise labor. That sounds cool. So just hit escape when you decide on one, and you can also name the group by typing capital G. This group right now is called the Mute Salves, which is hard to pronounce. The Sword of Forever. Holy crap, let's do that. Once you get your fort named and your group named, you don't have to do that every time, because a lot of times you just don't care. But I wanted a kind of cool name for this how to play series. So once you get everything done, you can save your configuration by hitting S. I have another configuration that I like better than this. This was just kind of my going through it real quickly type of configuration, so I'm not going to save it. But if you're content with what you have, you can hit E for embark, and it will bring up a message. Now the music plays. This is the one song that's in this game, and it's kind of catchy, but after a while you'll probably end up turning it off and listening to something else, because it's just kind of repetitive. But I think it'll be a nice little backdrop to this how-to series. Here comes the message. You've arrived after a journey from the mountain homes into forbidding wilderness beyond. Your harsh trek has finally ended. Your party of 7 is to make an outpost for the glory of all Aiton Vetek, which is our civilization. There are almost no supplies left, but with stout labor comes sustenance, whether by bolt, plow, or hook. Provide for your dwarves. You are expecting a supply caravan just before winter entombs you, but it is spring now. Enough time to delve secure lodgings ere the cougars get hungry. A new chapter of dwarven history begins here at this place. Libatherith. Praise labor. Strike the earth. So, praise labor starts. You can hit enter, and it brings up the actual game screen. It starts off paused by default, I believe. I'm going to have to pause this because my wife just texted me asking if I want a milkshake, and I do. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I had texted her back, and she's going to give me a milkshake. That's exciting. Anyway, we're starting off our journey here. So we've got all of our dwarves, and let me see if it's zoomed in as far as it'll go. If you can zoom out and look at a large area of the map, but for our purposes, we're going to need it to be zoomed in really big so you can see everything specifically on YouTube. this screen is our like main game screen. This screen is basically the UI. It tells you all the different buttons you can hit to open different menus. And this one is the like world, kind of like the region on the world generation. But I don't really use this one that much. I don't know if anyone does. Really. So if you hit tab, it'll change the configuration. You can change it a bunch of times, but I like to just have this one as the main one, and then the thing here to remind me what the buttons are. If I'm feeling really frisky, I'll go ahead and tab again and just have the whole screen be the view screen. But you know, it's nice to have that little menu to tell you what's what. You use the arrow keys to move around. I'm moving in a circular motion right now. And I'll show you what some of the things are. Of course, there's tree icons. There's a cat, a dog, a oxen, an ox. I think oxen is plural. There are 2 oxen here and there. They're all your dwarfs, and they have a little different icon depending on what their main profession is. So you can tell that guy's a miner. He has a pick over his shoulder. There's another guy standing on top of him, I guess. Looks like carpenter, maybe. Farmer. This person is an ambusher. That's our person that we made hold the crossbow. And this is our let me hit K. If you hit K, you can look at any item. It brings up this little X cursor, and you can look at it. It's our wagon, of course, the word that I couldn't figure out. So yeah, if you hit K, you can move around, and it'll tell you all whatever's in that tile right here. Right here, you can see is a downward slope, and it's blue. That means there's water underneath it, basically. If you use the little caret buttons, the little angry arrows for an emoticon, the angry eyebrows, and the other direction of it, it'll go up and down a level. See, I went up, and you can see the tops of the trees here, but we're above ground in the sky. If you go up an even higher amount, then it just turns blue. So that just means we're in the sky, and we can't see anything right now. Over here, you can see the tops of the trees. But yeah, these little carrots will move you up and down in the world, and you have to hold Shift to change your Z level, unless you're using the lazy new pack key bindings like I told you to, which you should be. So if you're not doing that, you can use just the buttons and use your other hand for other things, whatever you may be doing, like drinking water, like I'm doing. But anyway, if you go down, you can see right here that it's a murky pool of stagnant water. So that's what's down below this downward slope, and you can see that. Also down here is a ice wall, so there's a small piece of ice right here. What I usually do to get started is let me go ahead and escape out of the K menu. I will show you what you need to do to get started right away. The first menu that you're going to want to know about is the designations menu. That's where you designate something to happen. You hit D for designations, and if you're above ground, it'll automatically be on the chop down trees designation. It'll designate any amount of squares to have all the trees chopped down in that area. So you can make a rectangle, like see where my X is here. I hit enter, and then what happened? Enter, and it starts flashing. Then you can go to another area. If you want to go quickly, you can press the shift button and it'll skip like 10 squares or something. So I'm hitting shift and then up. Yeah, so now this whole area, if I hit enter, will go from the flashing icon to the other corner, and all of those you see turn dark, that means they're designated to be cut down. That means if there is a dwarf with the chop wood mechanic enabled, then they will go and do this if they don't have something else going on. You can't make any particular dwarf do anything. There's some ways to kind of do it, but it's kind of a workaround. But most of the time you just designate what you want them to do, and if they're able to, and if they want to, and if they're selected for that task, then they will do it. So first you designate some trees to get chopped down. That's important to have wood right away. Then you'll want to designate mining. So we're still in the designations menu, but if you exit out and you go back in the designation menu, it's D again. If your cursor is below ground, then it will automatically be selected in the mine designation to designate something to be mined. So if you're above ground, it will automatically be on trees. If you're below ground, it will be on mine. You hit, and the buttons are right beside what you want to do. So if you weren't on default trees, then you can hit T to switch to trees. D switches back to mine. And there's some other stuff in here that we'll probably go over. But if you want to mine like into the side of this mountain, then you would designate using the same method that we used before. You hit enter and it has a little flashing thing, and then you go to the opposite corner of whatever you want mined and hit enter. I don't really want that mined, so if you make a mistake, you can go ahead and remove a designation by hitting X when you're in the designations menu, and you can make a rectangle that you are removing the designation. And so that's how that works. But it looks like we're out of time for this video, so in the next video we will build a staircase and we'll start on our farming. We haven't even unpaused the game yet, so if you like this video, go ahead and like it or subscribe, and if you have anything to say to me, go ahead and comment. But until next time, I'm Paul Bo Brookins, and we'll see you next time.